Peace. What it do? What it do? Back in you niggas mix up again. Pause. Uh, Said I'm gonna go ahead and do a little third installation to this joint right here, man, because make sure I touched everything. You know what I'm saying? Cross my T's and dotted my I's or whatever. Few things I felt like I missed. I forgot to speak on or go into a little detail of that with go into depth with the details with. So I'll go ahead and hit y'all one more time just to make sure we covered all bases that I already planned on covering or whatever. So let's get to it. Now, first and foremost, let me say this again if I haven't said it already within this series of videos. For those that might be saying, well, how does this help me? Or how does, what do I get out of this? Not just this movie being broke down, but movies being decoded, period. Well, like I said, I give you two reasons. Well, put it like this. A lot of the things that when you come into consciousness, the first thing is pretty much, well, at least for how it was for me, the first thing is you start reading books, you start listening to other people drop knowledge or whatever, and that's what it becomes. It becomes about acquiring knowledge, being able to discern from, knowing what to keep and what to throw away, having a keen sense of discernment in regards to all of the information that you're dealing with along your research on whatever you're researching in particular, or just generally researching just the general research. You want to have a keen sense of discernment, and like I said like I've been telling y'all since the beginning of me speaking, being symbol literate is key. Being able to interpret and break down different symbols, understanding what certain symbols mean or what they could possibly mean, because these symbols like the hieroglyphs in Egypt or whatever, they don't necessarily mean just one thing. So you want to learn how to be able to look at the multi-layered meaning of different signs and symbols and whatnot. A good book I'd tell you to get would be I just say Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall. You read that book and I'm trying to see another joint. Well, for right now, that's a good one right there to go off of. But you want to learn how to decode these movies. Like I said, well, let me go back to what I was saying. You start out, researching all this information, but when you really start getting into the thick of spirituality and you start making spiritual communication with different deities or whatever, or when these ancestors or glorified ones or whatever you want to call it, or certain energies, when they start wanting to make contact with you and make you aware of their presence, they speak through things like synchronicity and symbolism. Once you get into the habit of decoding movies and learning how to decode movies, it makes it easier for you to be able to decode certain experiences, people, places, things, etc., that's around you, and in order for you to, in so many words, receive things like spiritual guidance or whatnot. So, I guess what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is, the more and more you practice with these movies, the more and more the easier it becomes for you to decode your own life. Plus, two, another reason, once you become an adept at decoding movies and being able to see the story beneath the story, or the story beneath the surface story, see one of the biggest ways they attack you is through entertainment, and movies in particular, subliminal programming. So, but the thing about it is, once you learn how to decode, and once you learn how to read between the lines, so to speak, you'll be able to catch, their movie magic that they try to work on you. It won't work because you'll be able to see it and decipher it. So when they play these subconscious mind games with you, when you catch it and you spot it, as opposed to somebody who can't catch it, it'll be less of a, it'll have less of an effect on you than it would somebody else. Who's just cause see, the thing about somebody who can see it, the chances of it being implanted in your subconscious mind, whatever programmative thought, if that's even a word, whatever thoughts that they trying to, or whatever program that they trying to put inside you through these subliminal messages, if you don't see it, or you're not able to interpret these type of things, it's a possibility that these, well, I don't say a possibility, I mean, it's just how it works, but these subliminal messages could enter into your mind without you being able to spot them. They can be planted into your subconscious and fester, and then your actions, you will start acting, or your actions will start being, to one degree or another, a product of this subconscious programming, and the conscious programming as well. I'll give you an example of I don't want to go off track, but anyway, but so many words, that's one of the benefits of it. So when you start learning how to look at movies for more than just what's going on the surface, and you start to read in between the lines and dig a little deeper beneath the surface, that helps you combat being the whatever type of subliminal attack that they're sending your way via theater or whatever. Even when you look at the movie, because when you go in the and I don't know, I think, some niggas know all the 22 hertz and all that shit, but I don't know all that shit. I'm gonna just tell you straight up. Like when you go in the movies, the whole thing, or the lights being dim, the flashing lights from the screen or whatever, all these things put you in somewhat of a trance-like state, or attempt to do so, and not necessarily a trance, like you just, but it wants to get your attention to a certain level, so they can do all the little whatever they trying to do through the movie, whether it be good or bad. So so when you conscious and you understand what's going on, it makes it hard for those for whatever they're trying to do to work on you or whatnot. But even when you look at the movie, and when Zach was in that, when he was at the Jester watching the performance, you really look at it. That's why I was put emphasis on how he was looking in that other video, because when you look at it, he was like damn it, like in a trance, not like he was. You just look at how they looking, and then when he finally got on stage and started doing this thing, you look at that look in his eyes. It was like, and there's been reports of even way before movies, back when it was just plays and shit. It was certain plays that used to, what play that was? They say had I can't remember, but it had the crowd like in a trance like state. Was it one of them old shits? I think some Shakespeare shit or something. It was something or some type of drama. But yeah. So like I say, one of the first things you want to do if you're not there already is become symbol literate. Get some type of I never read this book before, but it sounds like it'll be a good book to get you acquainted with symbolism. But it's a book called Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man. That might need to be my next pickup, my goddamn self. But yeah. So I just wanted to speak on that for those that's, feeling like this is a waste of time, but nah, it's not. But I think the most important thing that you would probably learn from what I'm doing right now in this video, these videos in particular, is just to get the mindset. So I'm showing you the mindset to be in when you watch these movies or whatever. So even if you think that the science, even though there's some Jews in there, but even if you think that the science, that even if you like, well, what's the big deal? Just pay attention to the way I'm viewing this shit. I'm interpreting it to you, and be like Mike or be like me. You know what I'm saying? Do what I do, or in your own way, of course. But I'm just trying to give you I'm trying to be I guess an example, an exemplary, a scholastic exemplary, a scholastic exemplary. It is. So yeah. But yeah, man, because like I said, you like I'm telling you from experience. Because when you start getting into the like I said, the thicker spirituality, you're gonna start having experiences where you're gonna need to decode and understand, or at least attempt to make an understanding. Because sometimes shit just is what it is. It can be interpreted in many different ways. But the more, like I said, the more adept you are at decode symbolism, the more and more you start being able to decode the things that's going around you, as well as things that happen to you in your past, your past experiences and shit or whatever, and you can be able to take that and then put that with the shit that you learned in the present day, and then collab all that, and that will help you further find out who you are, so you can start seeing what type of attributes that you have and things that have happened in your life that resembles some of these deities that we speak on and or whatnot, and then you'll be able to start learning more and more about yourself, thus gaining more knowledge of self and whatnot. So yeah, that yeah. So I guess I'll go hit y'all up with what I had up here I want to speak on real quick, and let you niggas enjoy your whatever your weekend or whatever. It's a weekend right now. I don't know when you go see this, but oh shit, it's Saturday evening. Excuse me. So alright, one of the things I noticed was back to but we first and foremost let's do a little quick breakdown real quick one more time. The conflict between Dean and your man Zach, basically that's based on, just like every other hero versus the villain story, is based off of the tale of two brothers, set battling while he rules in commission of avenging the death of his father. Um, that's interesting. I just had a thought that this just came to me. When you look at Zach and his situation with Zach and his old man, right? Uh, what does Zach think? Zach thinks that he thinks that his father is see. Um, that's another slick part about this movie too. Um, if you know anything about psychology, you know that the biggest agents of mind control in your life is whoever raised you, whether it be your mother, your father, or whoever you was raised by. Because they are the ones that set the precedent for when you for telling you what to do and what not to do. Do this, don't do that, don't. These things shape you into who you are until you start to be able to. Whether even when you growing, you come into your own and start saying, you know what, my mama said don't do this, but I'm old enough to do it now, so I'm gonna do this, and I done it, and it ain't really nothing to it. You know what I'm saying? You start coming into your own, but I'll give you an example. I never ate pig feet before. Thanks for that. But you want to know one of the main reasons why I probably never ate pig feet? Probably wouldn't even if my old man did, but because I grew up with my old man, and my old man don't eat pig feet. So that shit was never in the house. Plus, it's just disgusting. I think even if he did bring the shit home, that and chitlins and all that shit, you know, I was eating bacon and ham and all that shit. But I think I would have, because even when I did eat pork, I didn't eat that shit. And one of the reasons why maybe is because my old man never ate it, my mama didn't eat it, so therefore I never even got a chance to be exposed to it. That's mind control to a certain, not mind control like they say, oh, don't eat it because we didn't eat it, but you. It's subconsciously because I'll give you an example. If you don't like pizza and you got a kid and your kid grow up, you're not gonna go out your way and say in your mind, say, well, I don't like pizza, but let me see if my son or my daughter likes pizza. You're not gonna do that. So that child probably will never have pizza until they get exposed to it and start saying, hey, mommy, you eat pizza? I want to try pizza. But until then, they probably never eat pizza because the mother never doesn't eat it. So she don't eat it. She not gonna be thinking about going in. She not gonna think, well, let me see if he like it. I don't, but let me see if my son like it or my daughter like it. No, you're gonna you're gonna be basically your refraining from eating pizza is gonna be a byproduct of your mother not being a big pizza fan. So it's like I'm trying to show you the type of influence that your parents have on you, whether it be consciously or subconsciously. And when you look at Zach's situation, his father, that's what Zach is speaking to. He thinks he's like, a lot of the times we get subtly mind controlled by our parents and they don't even be trying to. Just like Zach's father. You know, so that's why I say when I tell you that the biggest agents of mind control is your parents or whoever raised you. I'm not saying it like they purposely trying to mind control you. They're not sitting down and saying, well, how we gonna mind control them today? You know, they all saying shit like, well, how we gonna keep this motherfucker from getting up in the middle of the night sneaking them cookies? You know what I'm saying? That's mind control, but they're not sitting there thinking like, Mom, I'm trying to control the mind. No, they're trying to get you to do what they want you to do, which is So they're trying to find ways to keep you on that path or whatever. Um, but they don't sit down at the goddamn table and say, well, let's see how we're gonna mind control them today, you know. But so it's like most people don't understand this. You ask, it's a lot of shit people do, and the reason they do it is based on their parents. But if you ask them, you're like, why did you do that? They're like, I don't know, I just always did it. When the whole while it's because of some shit that happened with you and your mama or you and your daddy or whatever. And I thought that was a good part of the movie too. Zach was one of the ones who saw that. So he asked his old man. He basically told his old man, was like, he felt like, and the reason the light bulb just came on a few minutes ago. I saw you can look at his old man as the Osirian figure. The death would be, at least to look at what Zach told him. You're never happy. You're hardly at home. Blah blah blah. And Zach thinks that his father is trying to relive through him or trying to fix his mistakes through Zach. Now that's the Osirian and Heru thing. The fixing of the mistake would be or that fix the father fixing his mistakes through Zach would be Horus Horus avenging the death of his father would be Zach or Zach's father fixing his mistakes through Zach, if you see what I'm saying. Even though that wasn't the case. But that's why I was just telling y'all, sometimes they do it without even trying. So maybe Zach's father was doing certain things he was doing, was subconsciously making Zach feel like he had to go to, because that's what the thing was. He thought that his father was trying to pressure him. His father went to Dartmouth, and he thought that Dartmouth College, and he thought that his father was trying to pressure him subtly into going to Dartmouth as well. And you can tell that by the conversation he had with Laney in the basement. But so when Zach finally put his card on it, what did his old man say? I'm not. He said I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know that's what I was doing. But if I did do that, I apologize. Because he was saying I wasn't trying to pressure you into going one way or the other. I just want you to understand that it's a whole lot of shit you're gonna have to make decisions about in the future that you're gonna have to do one way or the other, whether you like it or not. So. I think that was the whole Horus and Osiris thing between Zach and his father. Even though that wasn't his father's intention, the whole idea of the son, the father, proverbially righting his wrongs through his son, or his son fixing what was broke with the father. That's the whole Horus and Osiris thing. The Horus avenging the death of the father and this, that, and the third. So the death will be symbolized by the father, the father's mistakes, that whether he's subconsciously or consciously trying to fix via his son, your man Zach. So I thought that was interesting. So yeah. Now we go back, like I said, to the Tale of Two Brothers, the Dean and Zach. Now they were showing you through the movie subtly attributes of Dean that would show basically put you under the impression that he was the bad guy. When they was walking in the beginning, when they was walking through the courtyard or whatever, and they asked them what Preston asked them. Everybody was saying what they did for spring break. And, Dean was like, "Well, I was 40,000 feet in the air, jamming up some chick, blah blah blah." And when he said that, what Preston them do? Nah, nigga, they treated him like he was a liar or he was lying. So when you look at that, the response that Preston gave basically indicates that they never believed in this nigga say. Why? Because he plays the sick character, the devil. What they say about the devil? The devil is a lie, right? But they were showing you certain things, like when they was walking at that part right there, when they was walking, when you pay attention, they're gonna show Dean when walk by some dude while they walking and push his head into the locker and just keep on walking. You know what I'm saying? They show Dean smoking cigarettes, which is supposed to be a bad boy thing, you know, whatever. And then when them dudes in the courtyard doing that rap song about Laney, he was sitting up on the, you know, from the top part or whatever, looking down. There was a dude next to him with a Diet Coke in his hand. He hit the cigarette, put the cigarette out in the guy's Diet Coke or whatever. So they were trying to show you these things, put you under the example that this guy is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Or he's a bad guy or whatever. Those would be the black clothing. You know, at one point in time, they used to say, well, all the bad guys wear black. That would be his black clothing, those little things. You know, just like when you saw the man in black, oh, he's the bad guy. These little things would be the indications that he was to be perceived as the antagonist of the movie. But if you look at the beginning, when Taylor first break up with Zach, Dean started laughing. Now, that was a sign that this nigga been a hater. Because you don't, I don't care how much joking and playing and joking we do with each other. Your bitch come break up with you in front of me, my first reaction ain't gonna be, laughing and shit. I'll be like, damn, bro, that's a cold lick right there. You know what I'm saying? Shawty an animal. Blah, 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 blah. You know, it's a time for playing and it's a time for serious conversation and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but when they showed him, when she broke up with the nigga, you see Dean in the back laughing. I tell you, that was another sign that this nigga is a hater. He's not really this guy. He has some type of, even though they show it to you subtly, you have to pay attention and pick up on the subtle things to see that. Once you do that, you will, like I said, one of the things I tell you to do a psychological evaluation of each one of these characters, and based off of the decisions they make within the movie, give them a profile, and see what you come up with. Do a psychological evaluation based off of the things that each character does and the way they react to certain situations in a movie. Even though I'm already doing it, I'm showing you something. Do it for yourself anyway, and so you can start being able to see the deep into these movies. Because just like with Dean, him laughing, or when they met at the beach and shit, and he told him, "I knew you'd be at your spot." He's being slick. They gonna show you all of this in little ways. This nigga being slick. But even when they looked at each other doing a face off, you could tell by the way they looked at each other, they was homeboys, but it was something brewing. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting right there. What else? Let's see. there's another thing I want to speak on. When they was at the table, towards the end when Jesse and and Lainey was talking, and she act with Jesse was like, well, he was like, you know, so he had to hit up a bag of chips or something. Like, well, what should I not eat? Because you remember, that's one. That's one of the Lainey's one of the indicators of Lainey being conscious. Her watching what he eat and making him watch what he eat. Just like you got your conscious people, you got people within the conscious realm. You know, who tell you what shit you shouldn't eat and shit you should eat. But this was the point where she's starting to realize what Zach had told her. She was showing you that what Zach said to her sunk in about when he told her, you know, we all know the world has its problems, but sometimes you gotta just what he told her, sometimes you gotta kick back. Sometimes you gotta just kick back and relax or whatever. That's what she was showing when she was sitting at the table with Jesse. And that's how it is with consciousness. You come into consciousness, whatever you learn. But this is not a thing where you don't have to be totally. I don't want to say that because you damn good. I don't want to say it like this. I'm trying to find the best way to say it. You don't have to. You don't have to necessarily throw away everything that you were on and about prior to becoming conscious away or whatever. Because a lot of people think shit like, well, once you become conscious, you can't do this and can't go to the club and you know, all this, you know, and a lot of these things we brought from that Christian mentality we had. So a lot of the clothing may have changed, and you may have came from out of the church and you came from under that spell, but it's still blowback left from that. So, you know, you still, the way your morals are set up, it still comes from, and I'm saying you're not supposed to have morals, but the way you deal with your morals is still based off of a Christian, comes from your Christian raising or whatever you want to call it, your religious raising. So you operating within this new realm of consciousness, but then you're still locking yourself down in certain ways by the way you deal with it from a morality standpoint. So you might get conscious, oh brother, you got to stop smoking that weed and drinking that liquor, cause your body, man, you gotta take care of your don't you know that your body's a temple? You know, you start talking all that shit, and it's not, and you would think you're doing the right thing, or you know, but that's because you come from that McGruff the crime dog fucking mentality or whatever. Where everything's just black and white. When the whole while you're supposed to drink spirits, or you don't supposed to, but you can. Why you think you pour libation to certain spirits? Why you set up an altar? So I tell niggas, you set up an altar, you put that liquor on that altar. What you think the ancestors or whatever you saying doing? So you would try to tell me, oh well, brother, we conscious now. We gotta stop smoking weed nowadays. And I'm like, man, who told you that? You think that because that's how the church. You think because when you do right, when you follow what you're supposed to do with your put it like this, in your old spiritual land or realm, which is the religion, they made you believe that to be the best person you are spiritually, you have to leave drugs alone or leave alcohol alone. So when you come over, a lot of people that crossed over and came into the conscience, they brought that with them. So they, oh brother, you're drinking that liquor and you need to stop. That Hennessy just ain't gonna do you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm alright. As long as I don't drink too much of this shit, I'm good, brother. Matter of fact, I'm finna post something up for Pac in a minute. He gonna drink this shit too. He's a spirit. So, yeah. But yeah, man. To bring it back to the lunch table, he says, what should I eat? What should I not eat? You know, being funny. You know, cause remember the first one of the first scenes, she was getting on him about the Twinkie. He put a Twinkie out. She was like, I thought we were supposed to be losing 10 pounds before the summer. 10 pounds, 10, the 1 and the 0. What he was seeing in the Matrix, when he cracked the code or whatever, he started seeing 1s and 0s. What the computers ran off of, 1s and 0s. When this universe was when the earth came into fruition and this universe came into fruition, what it was a 1 or 2 pillars, a line in the middle with a circle around it, 1 and a 0. The 10 and the twin keys is the two twin directions that the light was going. The light went up. The twin keys is the light and the dark. The light going up and the darkness going down, and the light coming back down and the darkness coming up in the shape of the earth. So at first it traveled down the spine of the core of the earth in the form of melanated goo and formed what we call the underworld, or what's underneath the surface of us now. And but when it rose, so when the sun came back down and hit the center, and the earth pushed the earth back up, that was the melanin in the form of the earth shape coming back up and going into it, blowing off the top of the sun and going into its orbit or whatever. So that was the connection to that. What she told that nigga, she said, eat what you want to eat. And he was like, well, snack time, what he said, snack time, let me see. He said something like, I guess the chips he was eating was called snack time. He said snack time owns Captain Peg Leg, which means they're dolphin friendly now. The whole health thing or whatever. Save the dolphins. So they, first and foremost, the dolphins is the dolphins, the fish, that's a Nomo sign, or a sign of the Dogon, Sirius star system emblem. You know, because everything came from water. So life came from water. That's why you can't preserve life without water. Which is one of the reasons why the fish was held as one of the sacred attributes of the fall. One of the reasons why the fish was viewed as sacred. Jesus and the fishes. And you got Oans, which is Oaanes, the fishman or whatnot. Mermaids, of all and all that. Sea creatures or whatnot. All that is dealing with the get serious mystery and take you into that. So he says that, and she said screw the dolphins. So when she said screw the dolphins, what she was saying in so many words was, it's already understood. We conscious and we know this stuff, and this is what we talk about every day, saving the dolphins, the water and all this. Now she's like, you know what, screw the dolphins. Then she asked them, am I kissable? So now it's like she didn't already did most of her spiritual work. Now she has to work on being a human. Being shut out, or being a shut-in, or being an introvert, that cultivated the God within her. So when it was time to bring that God out, she already mastered being divine, so now she had to master being the human. Therefore now it's time for, she ready to get her boots smoked. That's why she asked Jesse, was she kissable? And he freaked out because that's his homegirl. They almost like sisters and brothers, so he never looked at her like that. But she was saying that based off of the insecurity what she brought on herself in that particular instance, because the whole reason that even came about was because when they was in the basement, when Zach was finna kiss her, that doubt kicked in, and she said, "You're not doing this just for the prom, man," and which spooked him out, scared him off. She fucked the kiss up. Now she's sitting there. Think about if she would have got the kiss, that next day she would have been sitting at the table shining and glowing. But she said that, fucked it off, he ran off. Now she left her thinking, well, what did he run off for? Is it me? Am I not kissable? So she had to ask her homeboy. That's why she was sitting at the table just looking. That's what was on her mind. She wasn't thinking about, and that's how it is sometimes. You know, once you get to a certain level of consciousness, man, you always a student, but you get to a point to where you I always had a balance though. I never, I never just turned into a different nigga because I was. Of course, this shit changes you because this is what this shit is about, transformation. But I only change. It pretty much changes the important shit, the way you think and how you see things, not the way I dress. I can still dress like a hood nigga. I don't gotta put on some shit that indicates that I'm conscious, wear beads and shit, or locks and whatever, you know what I'm saying? You see me, you might not even know I'm conscious till I tell you, like, you know what I'm saying? But, so, Jesse looks at it and tells her, Simon, her brother, pulled up on the skates. He got the black pepper in his hand. Now, this is what I was trying to get into, really. I just want to breeze over this little part, too. But he asked Lena if she wants some pepper. He gave Jessie the pepper, asked Lena if she wants some pepper. She said, nah. And he just kept on rolling. Now, what the bully dude called him, Seaman. His name's Simon, but he played with his name and called him Seaman. Now, when you look at it on the surface, he was dissing him. But like I was telling you, when you look underneath the surface, what they were trying to tell you on the underlying message is, he's the sperm, he's Horus, that's why like I told you, after his mother's funeral, he was sitting on her lap like Horus, he was sitting on Lanie's lap, like Horus sitting on the lap of Isis, breastfeeding in the green chair, which is the heart chakra. So when he calls him semen, what is semen? Semen is the sperm, that which turns into a baby. Matter of fact, you'll even see they got hieroglyphs of sperm cells in Egypt and shit. But he's the baby to understand it. The Heru. So him being the semen with a black pepper in his hand, holding it in something that's phallic in shape, which means penis. They're telling you that he's the semen that carries the black dot. See, in that book I was telling y'all about Kundalini Rising, it was saying how the sperm cell, when it penetrates the egg, it deposits a black dot inside the egg, which is your pineal gland. And then your spine unfolds from out of the black dot. So you have your spine with a black dot on the end of it, just like it is now. That's where the whole concept of the magic wand comes from. The spear, the stick with the ball on the top of it. So he was carrying that pepper shaker. Then one of the bullets, like I was saying, he had the red hair. That's the red head. That's another Set typhon or Set cause Set, his zoo type is the ass or the jackass, which has red hair or whatever. Now a lot of people with red hair, like from Ireland and all that shit, they catch flack on that because through the mythology, it's really mythology. Just because a person has red hair doesn't mean that they're just an evil person. But by the red hair being similar to the by Soot or Set being zoo type being the ass, and the ass having the red hair, and the red hair becoming somewhat synonymous with Set. A lot of people with red hair at one point in time they used to think was evil or whatever because the shit got misinterpreted when really they were just trying to give you trying to use that to basically show you basically the mythology was to basically show you that said it's the root chakra is red, it's the lowest chakra, it's a chakra that's deals with your sexuality and physical reality or whatnot. Pretty much close, good enough to say the total opposite of the physical or whatever. So when you're dealing with it in mythological form, you can look at it like that. But when you're just looking at everyday people, you can't just see somebody with red hair and say, "Oh, you're evil, you're whatever." Yeah. So and then you get the guy. They got the fatigues on, and the guy got on the Kill All Artist shirt. And like I was telling y'all, that the reason he had the fatigues on, and he got the Kill All Artist shirts on, they trying to show you that there was a war being waged on the art, on art period. So when you look at when you go look at that Good Music Matters video I did last year, you will see a similar message being a message similar to the one that they were trying to show you in She's All That, and the Outer Limits episode called Falling Star with Sheila Easton in it, because that's what the lady who was helping her told Sheila Easton. She was like, people they can't do what they want to do with music as long as you're around, so they're trying to get rid of you, i.e. kill the real art, and then create a music industry full of cookie cutter artists or whatever, or people who are not really artists, though everything will be sounding the same, i.e. kill the art. Go watch that Good Music Matters video I did, and then put that with what I'm telling you now about this scene right here. Then there's a gun on the shirt. And they say kill all artists. So shit, look what they did with Big and Pop. And what see, that's the thing. So go back to that, when you look at that Sheila Easton thing, and the lady in the mirror was telling her, they're trying to get rid of you because they can't do what they want to do with music as long as you're here. Same shit with Pac now. What we always say, if Pac was still here, this shit wouldn't be like this. If Big was still here, this shit wouldn't be like this. And true, I agree, say the same thing. Because a lot of shit, them niggas had so much influence, especially Pac, had so much motherfucking influence. As soon as you start kicking up that bullshit, when this nigga say, hey, that's bullshit, you ain't gonna make it. Everybody else gonna say, oh, Pac said it. You know how niggas are. Y'all still do it today. It's just today, y'all follow the phony nigga. Pac said that shit too. The nigga was like, y'all support the real, don't support the phonies. You niggas do the total opposite today. Y'all support the phony niggas, and the real niggas don't get no support, or shit, get attacked if anything. But he had the gun on his shirt, which made me think about Pac and Big. They both died of gun violence. These two guys would be, like I say, if they were still around, music would probably went in a whole different direction. I, for one, I embrace the youth, and I embrace the newness, and I understand the evolution of this shit. As long as this evolution evolving into greatness or something great. Now, if it's changing for the worse, then we not finna sit here and parade some shit and say, well, you gotta understand that it's a new generation and things change. Like, yeah, things change, but they don't have to change for the fucking worse. When we sit here watching it, somebody can say, hey, stop these people. They're going down a dead end or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and I probably said all this shit in the last video, but it's all good. I'm gonna say it again just to make sure I get off it. I need to start get a habit of watching my own videos, but that shit is like pulling teeth and shit, man. I don't know why, but yeah. So that's another thing. Lainey, I can't remember which one who called her that shit, but somebody called her, said she was scary and accessible. Either I think it was Dean. And now Zach didn't win the bet because she didn't become prom queen, but he still partially, for the most part, did what he said he was gonna do. And even though she didn't go all the way and make it to prom queen. What he was saying in so many words was, I can take any other female and make her hot just like Taylor was. So they had to take the most quote unquote scary and inaccessible female and put Zach on her, which was Lainey. And his plan worked because, why do I say that? Well, even though he didn't win the bet, but look what happened. He ended up, Dean, both of them looked at her like she was unattractive at first. Then when it was all said and done, they both wanted her, or for whatever reason that they, probably different reasons, but so they went from looking at her like, oh, she's then all of a sudden, as the movie title implies, all of a sudden, she's all that. Niggas. So, I thought that was interesting too. You know what I'm saying? When they was at the beach and she came out them clothes, when she came out, she had a bathing suit on, you start to see the body. See, it's one thing when the, for one, she's already little and slim. But I be telling niggas, man, everybody is not, fine isn't exclusive to just thick women. You know what I'm saying? So when she came out when they was on the beach, usually they see her at school, she covered up. But then when he finally got to see a little of that body, they was like, oh, hold up. Yeah, she working with a little something now. Slowly but surely, the walls started coming down, the layers started falling off. It was the beach scene. Then they took her, Mackenzie gave her the makeover. She got the makeover. After she got the makeover, now you can see the beauty. I already saw it. Like I say, I know pretty girls can't hide from me. You can't hide your beauty from me. I don't give a damn how much clothes you put on, how much you try to hide. I can still see through that shit. Other niggas might see them glasses, like, I'm like, oh, that bitch still sexy, especially with the glasses on. So, yeah. But I thought that was interesting. It was a turn of the tables, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's move along. Oh yeah, your boy Mitch. Okay, when they was at the Jester, and when Zach got on stage, that's another thing I forgot to mention too. When you see when he first got on stage, what happened? Them little stars, they show stars pop up behind them, little dots of light or whatever. Which is the same thing that happened at the end when they go outside and the old man cut the light, hit the button. What happened? He cut the little bitty lights on around them. Those, they represent the sun and the moon, and they represent the sun and the moon, and them little bitty lights around them represent the stars or whatever. Zany and Zach at the end or whatever. But your man Mick, I thought he had a diaper on, but he had drawers on. Show you how much I'm trying to see this shit. But when I looked at it last time, I said, no, he got on drawers. I thought he had a diaper on. Still, he still represented the Heru energy or the Christ energy, because he came out of the egg and was in the center and all that. But I thought and they probably done it on purpose. They probably had it look like a diaper on purpose to give you that. They probably want to use a diaper because it would have been weird. They'd be like, well, we don't want to make it too weird. We'd put drawers on. Like, I don't know. Who knows? But I just want to say that because I know I said a diaper in the first one and shit. So, So I'll just let y'all know I caught that. But yeah, Zach hopping when he was doing the kicking thing, the hopping on one foot, uh, all that. That's the well, I'll say that when I pull the pictures out because I'll show y'all that. Then he actually, when they was on the beach, Zach asked her, "Do you ever kick back and smile?" Now that was an important part too to me because she was like, "I smile," but the way she said it like a little kid if you pay attention. So it's almost as if Zach was helping her do what her father wanted her to do. As you remember what her father said later on in the movie, he said when she told him she was finna go to the store, and he told her, "I'm starting to think that you keeping yourself occupied with adult task, grown up people's task, in order to avoid the business of being a kid." Oh shit, excuse me. Which could be possibly true. Then you gotta think about it. Her mother died when she was young. She like when she told Mackenzie was like, "When the last time you plucked your eyebrows?" And she was like, "Well, I never have." She's like, "My mother died before I got old enough to get into that stuff." So many words, what she was saying is she never got to an age where her mama could sit her down and teach her how to be a woman, how to, which is one of the reasons why she's probably a tomboy. She never had that feminine energy to do the feminine things with her, sit down with her, comb my hair, and watch her mother get makeup, put makeup on, and pluck her eyebrows and all that shit. All she sees, oh man, so she just going. She had to go for what she knew around that motherfucker. So, her taking on grown-up responsibilities, for the most part, would be a byproduct of the fact that her mother passed. So she was trying to fill that void. Her mother played the feminine Osiris of her family. Her mother was the hidden energy. And then she even helped her from the ancestral realm. Why? Because you remember she painted that picture when they showed you her painting the picture with the blue water representing the feminine energy, the mommy waters, Oshun and all that. They showed you that, and excuse me. They showed you all that, and then what Debbie Morgan tell her, a teacher, but she said she told her so many words. That piece you did of your mother made me and I'm paraphrasing, but she told her she put it in a good word to like a couple of different art schools or whatever. Then she said, "Lady Bob, I don't know what's responsible for this change, but I don't know who's been trying to. So I've been trying to open you up for 4 years. I don't know what's responsible for this change, but keep going with it." Which of course was Zach. Like I said, he opened her up. Then when she said for 4 years, that represents, you gotta remember, first you got the light, you got the darkness at the top, the light at the bottom, and at the center point you had the light within the darkness. Then that center point shot to the top, 7 more spirits of light followed it. So the train being formed, the 8 going up one after another, and the light going into the flanks, filling up the top would be the first. And then all the light retracting to the edge of the circumference, and then shooting out of the edge of the circumference, as well as the light, all the light. That first spear of light that went up, when it inhaled all the 7 ones and took all the light from the spear that was created, that was the second one. So the first would be to fill up The second phase would be all the light retracting, which would be 2. Then 3 would be when the sun, and that's another thing too. When they were at the restaurant and the dude said, "Supersize my balls," pause. That pertains to the creation process. The supersizing. I gave y'all one example, but another one would be you had the head, which would be Star Sirius. Then you had the 7 spirits of light beneath it. 7 smaller balls of light. But all those 7 all get inhaled into the one that took out first, which is Sirius. They all get inhaled in that mix and then get spit out. And they spit out as one, but it's a bigger ball. So instead of 7 little ones, it's one big ball or a super ball, supersized ball, which is the sun. So, but when the sun come back down, boom, it hit the center of the surface of the newly created Earth. That's the third part of it. The fourth is when the Earth comes up with the sun traveling through the center of it, or the sun's pushing up. When the sun comes back down and falls back into that center point where everything started at, it stays right there. But the shoe or the wind comes from under the Earth. Remember, it was at top at first, but it turned over. So now instead of sucking up, it's it sucked up, and then it pulled down to pull the sun back down. Then when the sun came back down and hit that center point, all that air, the wind started pushing up from under the Earth, and it pushed the Earth up. But the sun seems the center, but it's pushing the Earth up. So the sun is meeting with each chakra before the Earth blew off the sun. If you go look at that Sirius Star Power video, you'll see it. But and when the sun finally blew out, that was the fourth part of the process. And then you had that's the 4, and then the Earth went 1, 2, and then it stopped in the third chakra or whatnot. So like I say, you go watch the Sirius Star Power, you'll see everything I'm saying. But then you got Gabrielle Union, Hun Preston, and Lil' Kim or whatever. Lil' Kim role was kind of smaller than theirs, but they played a moral authority. So when Gabrielle Union eventually starts to take a liking to Blaney, and when Taylor poured the drink down Laney's shirt, that was almost like the last straw for Gabrielle Union. That's why when Brock broke over Laney with Taylor, and Taylor called her homegirl, I can't remember that girl's name, but the girl called told Gabrielle Union, well, we gotta go see what's up with our homegirl. No, she was like, we gotta go see what's up with Taylor. And Gabrielle Union was like, why? She was like, cause she our friend. Gabrielle Union was like, shit, things change, which is what the movie is about, transformation. But she said things change. She said that because she was basically saying, I don't really cut for her. I like Laney. Laney's cool. And she just showed how much of an inconsiderate asshole she is by doing it to that girl. So I don't give a damn about Taylor. So that was another example of that moral authority thing, which is interesting because after I did that last video, I saw somebody posted the first African American McDonald's commercial, and guess what the commercial was about? It was about a black family on their way to church, stopping at McDonald's at breakfast before they went to church. Had the gospel music in the background. Oh, 2 pieces of chicken for $40, and all that old shit or whatever. But they had whatever the hell they were singing in the background. It goes back to the moral authority thing I was telling you about. Because, okay, we know church is fucked up, and but for one, they want to associate you with the church because that was a part of our programming. Black people are the face of church. We the face of real spirituality, period. But we just condense it down and just talk about America or whatever. We the face of of the church, because that was one of the main goals. That was a part of the propaganda to beat that Christianity into us until we ate, breathed, and shitted. So, the mere fact that they had to teach you that to replace your old and kill your old spirituality, they had to make it somewhat synonymous with black people. Just by the way it was pushed on us. So that's one thing. But then when you look at the whole thing about the whole moral authority thing, when you think about church, you think about morality. So if you think about church, then you think about, if church makes you, the first thing you think about when you think about church is black people. And then the first thing you think of, if the first thing you think about church is morality, and black people are associated with church to that degree, you get what I'm saying? It gives you, it puts black people in the moral authority position. Because you think like, well, these are the spiritual people, which we always have been a spiritual people. It's just that when it comes to that particular religion, it's a falsehood. So, it wasn't serving us. But, oh shit, when they showed that, when I saw that, I said that's what they wanted. They wanted you to, they were trying to tell you who they wanted you to be, or tell you who you are, or who it is they want you to be. So they showed it, because you got to think about this, the first McDonald's commercial. And so you have to think, well, why would they? This is the first McDonald's commercial with black people in it. What made them choose to make it about black people in the church and tie them two together? Because one, it goes with the mind control. They want you to think that to be Christian is to be black. Not saying that there ain't no white Christians out there, but we know the deal ultimately. They want you to see a commercial like that and say, that's right, that's black folks. We're good old black people. We go to church. We gonna dump that Bible. And they want people that don't understand yet to look and say, well, maybe I'm black, so maybe that's what I'm supposed to be. Maybe I'm supposed to be a church person. That's how McDonald's say we are. That's what they say we are. So, I'm just showing y'all things that how these synchronicities line up. Just like this book I got right here. Imagining the World into Existence. Norman Ellis. I went and got this book a few days after I did that last video. And when I saw it, when I picked it up, I opened it up. The first page that I opened it up to was dealing with something that was relevant to what we're doing, to this video series I'm doing. I can't remember which page, because it happened twice. I turned to one, then I turned to another one, and both of them was synchronized with this little lecture I'm doing. But I'll read this one to y'all real quick. It's called a chapter called Who, Sia, and Heco. Invocation, which is who, wisdom, which is Sia, and magic, which is Heco. So let's go. The pyramid text shows us a journey that Ra makes through the nether world every night. He made this same journey on the first day of the world, when he sprang from the lips of Adam. After death, the soul makes the same journey on his quest for regeneration and greater enlightenment. 3 divine beings accompany Ra during his nightly travels in the Mesket boat. They are Hu, Sia, and Heca. In brief, we might define them as invocation, wisdom, and magic. We have already examined Heca at some length, but certainly Ra deserves his power from creative partners Sia and Hu. The two gods were said to be born from the fluid of the phallus of Adam, as the great he and she united with the head God. Excuse me. Now, they go back to the letterman, which is another important thing too that Zach had on. It had the H on it. H is he or her. When you're dealing with the supreme alphabet in the nation of gods on earth, H is he or her. He or her has the H is the eighth degree of the mathematics is build or destroy. The eighth letter of the supreme alphabets of the nation of gods on earth is H. So that's the correspondence, he or her. He or her has the ability to build or destroy. See how it ties in? Which that's what this movie is about. The union of opposites, the creation of the world in a subtle manner. They show you this. But the H, the eight, the Kemen, which is the 8 spears of light, Sirius, the first star rising, and then the 7 other spears coming behind it, making it the 8, the H. Yeah, I just want to speak on that. Now let's get back to this right here. With seer, wisdom or perception, and who, divine utterance or invocation, Adam uses Heka to create the cosmos at the beginning of time. Every day Ra renews himself using the same magic. Who is magical breath? Remember what I told you, Shu is that's the thing about this, you got Shu and you got Hu. And it's looking like they're the same thing because Shu is the god of air. Hu is a magical breath, inhaling and exhaling. So the only difference between Shu and Hu at this point is the S. Hu is missing the S. Shu has the S. And if you do, there's probably some type of differentiating factor between the two, or maybe it's the same. Maybe they both are just represent the same deity to a degree. I mean, to a T. It's just somehow the pronouncement change. The pronouncement of it change. That happens too with a lot of these names and shit. Through different eras and different generations to be talking about the same entity, and they'll have different names, similar names, but they'll one generation is said different than another one, or one area of the world, or have a similar god with a name that's similar, but it's spelled a little different, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go. Seer is wisdom and understanding. He is the power of conscious thought and focused attention. In the realm of the gods, Seer is omniscient, omniscience and divine knowledge, foreknowledge and understanding. Who is the voice of authority? And Heka is the spiritual intention, the force behind magic. All three divine beings exist in the realm of God as a light and life force that extends into the universe. All three must be kept in the mind of the high priest shaman and within the heart of the pharaoh from the opening day to its close, and especially on soul's journey through death, the dream time, or through the night. Okay. So one creation myth says that when Hu drew his first breath, there came a sucking sound. That is his essence in his name. Hu is also the sound of an expelled breath. Now here goes the part. This is the page that I actually turned to when I opened it up, and it took me straight to more synchronized right with these videos. It says his two hieroglyphs are a house with an open door, which that'll be the earth, and the circle that represents the spiraling wings of a dust devil. I'll show y'all the hieroglyphs, you can see it for yourself. See it right there. And when it said that about the spiraling winds of the dust devil, the dust is the melanin. Because remember what I told you, it was light, it was darkness at the top, it was light at the bottom, and it was a whirlwind within the darkness with his foot sitting at the center of that at the center point in the world where it's spinning, in the darkness where the melanin resided at. The melanin would be the dust wind, or the dust devil, the devil, darkness. Let's see what it says. It says in the circle that represents the spiraling winds of the dust devil. So those spiraling winds would be the shu energy within the darkness, spinning in a circle with the melanin spinning around or whatnot. The dust, that would be the dust or whatever. And there was another part in here where it said that I turned to, and it said it says everything contains its opposite, which goes back to what I was telling y'all about how these characters, even though they might be predominated by certain templates, they still partake of other templates. So like with Dean is Set is the bad guy or whatnot within this context, but he still partakes of the light or the good side, but he's the false light, but he still partakes of the light. So because he still has the light within him, he's just a fake nigga with it. So when he snapped and he said, "Oh, Laney, it's so stupid. It was a bit." When he pimped out, when he spilled the beans, you would say, well, he came out and told the truth. Coming out and telling the truth would be considered a good thing, but it's still tainted because he's doing it for the wrong reason. So he's doing a good thing for the wrong reason. He's not doing it from the heart. He's doing it for selfish gains. He's not doing it because he wants Laney to be in on the truth. He's doing it because he's trying to split them up, i.e. do what Set does, split motherfuckers up and have her to himself or whatever. So light, you can equate the light with being good or whatever, and dark with being bad, quote unquote. We're just keeping it within context. You don't want to get caught too far up in that. We're just keeping it within the context. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want you going outside and start thinking, well, I'm dark skinned, so I'm bad, or the sky is black tonight. That's not what we're doing. But we just keeping it within the context. So when he does the good thing and tells the truth, he's dealing with the light, but it's a false light. It's a taint to it because he's not doing it for good reasons. He's not doing it to say, I'm telling the truth. I told the truth. Now let's just all get along. No, he's doing it. I'm telling you the truth so we can get this nigga out the way and I can jump up and down on you and discard of you. That's what his thing was about it. But, and just like with Zach, he's the good guy, he's the light, but the mere fact that he partook of the bet would be him dealing with that small drop of darkness within that light part of the game, or the whatever. So and that's why I was telling you about how you get spiritual messages and how things start synchronized. Because right after I did all that, what happens? I find this book and it's even the same color as my King Tutankhamun shirt. So those are the type of things that are breakthroughs or things you want to be on the lookout for. Those type of synchronicities or whatnot. You know, you sitting there talking to somebody about something spiritual, then you go to the bookstore and you pick up a book and you first page you turn to pertains to the same shit you was just telling them or something that was going on between y'all two. These are the type of things that happen. I just want to share that with y'all real quick. It's a good book though, man. Y'all should check it out. That's another thing too, what I was trying to explain in the last video about the underworld, how they kept going into when you look at when Laney ran out of Preston's house at the party, they're gonna show you her run. She had to run upstairs. She ran upstairs. Well, that's how they showed the scene. They showed her running upstairs, and then the next shot was the front door opening, her running out the front door, which means she had to run upstairs to get to the front door to get back to surface level. So that means when they was in Preston's house, when they walked in, they had to go down or go into the underworld or the Osirian realm. Osiris is the lord of the underworld. And it's Preston house, the black man, you know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 blah. Osiris. And it's just like Esther. See, Esther is the fallen goddess, which is Astarte, which is what Easter's about. But it's about both. It's about Jesus and Esther. They just don't. Back to the Christianity, they block everything they got anything to do with what they trying to push out. But Astarte is basically the fallen daughter. You know when I tell y'all, Lainey falls, she fell down the stairs, fell coming up the stairs, fell running. She's the fallen daughter. She's Esther. Esther is so many words. Esther is a form of you can say Esther or Astarte is the form of Isis. It's Isis, the form of Isis who goes through her trials and tribulations like Osiris. So she falls to the same way Osiris. Because we always hear about Osiris getting fucked up and Isis having to put them back together. But there's mythology where Isis falls too, where she falls under the name of Estar. And there's probably stories where, matter of fact, with the Book of the Dead, they speak about Isis gets ripped up too or whatever. So all of them had a dead quarter or whatnot. But man, I think on Gods of America, I heard somebody was saying that the episode that was dealing with Ishtar, the dude was in there trying to tell her like, well, Jesus stole your holiday. They're making it all about him, and they didn't forget all about you, which is true, because like I just said, with Christianity, they don't want you to deal with the Ishtar thing because for one, Christianity is a misogynistic religion, so they're gonna suppress that. Anything with a woman is of importance. They try to outside of Mary and Mary Magdalene and all that, they're gonna suppress that. But it's kind of accurate though, because Jesus is rising. Like when we get to the Easter season, the sun is rising. The sun, basically, the earth is traveling into a position where it's putting the sun at a northerly position above it. Ishtar is the woman, the earth. So when the springtime come around and the sun is returning into its most northerly point, the earth is going to its most southerly point, or i.e. falling, like the falling daughter. And the sun, or Christ, is rising, and summertime is coming. Or spring is going through spring and coming to summer, going into summer where the sun will be at its highest point. So that's where the whole Jesus rising out of the tomb is the sun rising over the horizon line. I need to do a video on that Easter joint. I did. Did I do one on my old channel? I don't know. I think I need to do another one though. I break down all that shit, all the Easter paraphernalia, whatever. So, like I was telling y'all, before they went to the party, she was coming down the stairs. She fell. He caught her. Coming down, they go to Preston's house. She goes down again into Preston's house. Then when she goes into the underworld, the chick pulls the shit down her throat, chest or whatever. She has to run back up and out the door or whatever. So I thought that was interesting. And then in the dream, when Zach had that dream of Laney and Taylor kicking it, and him and Brock kicking it, and he was trying to tell Brock, where Brock was like, man, what's wrong with her? She don't like her $1 million makeover, which was another sign of to indicate that Zach was a rich kid and Laney wasn't as rich. And even that thing about the pool, about a man being a pool man, when I told you I changed the L to the R and you got the poor man, you could take that one step further. Poor man, or the poor, the poor, P-O-O-R, the poorer, the poorer, The poor, the man with the water jug, the Aquarius. Poorer, the poor. I be on my shit. But in that scene, and then Zach was telling me, he's like, man, it ain't about that. I really care for that girl. You know what I'm saying? And then Taylor tells, Laney tells Taylor, you was right. He did everything you said he was going to do. And Taylor was like, of course, I created him. Taylor, what does Taylor do? So, the world, that's Neef energy. Neef souls the physical world into its existence, or the feminine energy takes the light and souls or creates or shapes this world into an existence or whatever. But in that scene, they show a globe in there, hinting at the creation of the globe, or the globe or whatnot. The round shape, the balls. So, let's see. Alright. We ain't got too much longer left. I ain't gonna keep you niggas too long. I'm ready to go have some fun in the sun around this motherfucker. So, okay, we talked about that. The Dolphins and shit. It said screw the Dolphins. She asked was she kissable. Cause now she done already mastered art and being a god. Now she's trying to find us a counterpart. Even though, man, you really pay attention. I'm gonna let y'all figure this out on y'all own. But pay attention to the conversation she had with the old man. One of them, you gonna see the moon. You gonna see him do something alluding to the moon. And in so many words, what they was doing in this movie, they was trying to show you that the father was ready for his daughter to be initiated into the art of having sex. But they couldn't just come out, it was a teen movie, so they couldn't come out and tell you like that, but you have to pay attention to certain little shit. That's why when he gave the nigga the jock strap at the beginning, I was like, he did that, then he had another conversation with with the father had a conversation with Laney. I think he was trying to tell her in so many words, it's about that time. So when she asked Jesse, am I kissable? She's asking him that because she's saying it's time for me to do my thing. You know, it's time for me to, you know, whatever. She ready to get her boots smoked. Yeah, that, alright. So I just want to go back over that real quick. Oh yeah, then the bullet call, remember I was telling you this shit is about water. Or the sperm is water too. Or liquid. And what did the dude call Simon, the bully, when he was in the cafeteria? He called him the rain man. He's the little rain man or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. Rebel. Oh yeah, rebel against Zach. He rebels against parental mind control. Talked about that. Oh yeah, that look when Laney after the dress situation, and if you notice when they had when Laney got the drink poured on her dress, her and Taylor had on the same dress. It was trying to show you they were two different aspects of the same energy. They were twins. Even in the dance scene, when they at the prom, you gonna see Laney and Taylor bump into each other backwards. They're gonna be back to back. Now I've never seen. Now in Kemet you have Horace and the twin brothers Horace and Set back to back. That's where you get the whole Satan gets behind me thing from. Horace leads. He's in the front. Satan is in the back, looking back. The yin is the two-face. Set being the darkness, being in the back, representing the medulla oblongata or the subconscious mind. I've never seen but that just goes to show you how, they switched they was switching things out and shit like that. Cause I never seen the feminine version of that. I never seen a Isis and Neptunes back to back. Any type of iconography or like that. But they were trying to show you when Laney and Taylor were back to back. They were trying to show you that Laney was the hay rule, Taylor was the sit in the back, or they were both going through the same thing. They were the female counterparts of Dean and Zach. So yeah, that right there. But when they look at that look she got in her eye, Laney got in her eye after she get the drink poured on her, you see the confidence in it when she get back to school. You can see the confidence that dealing with Zach brought out of her. Cause she went from walking and falling and being clumsy to now she got, watch how her hips twisting. She got a clique with her. She got people. She popular now. She got people hollering her name, voting for her and shit. You know what I'm saying? She feeling herself, which she should. You know what I'm saying? And then when she meets up with Laney, with Taylor, she got that killer look at that. She got a killer look in her eye. Look at that look in her eye, man. Taylor trying to be fake for the camera and shit. Laney a real bitch though. So Taylor was like, come on, let's just do it for the camera. Laney like, bitch, fuck that camera. I don't fuck with you. So she's bitch just start smiling and cheesing. Laney just still looking like, man, I don't fuck with this hoe. But she look at that, she got that killer look in her eye. And then Usher. Now Usher represented God too in this movie. You know, that's why y'all was in a loudspeaker. You know, he's the voice. You know, they show him, but you know, he's talking with it. He's the voice and he's the DJ. You know, what do DJs do? Talk over the songs, speak or whatever. He's the DJ, so he's working with the wax. He's working with the wheels of steel. 2 black discs, melanin. As a matter of fact, vinyl is made out of melanin. It's carbonate. It's cooked down melanin or whatever. The needle is a diamond. The diamond light, the dark vinyl being the melanin. It's revolving the same way everything revolves. You know, everything is turning us, all the heavenly bodies spinning a circle. Osiris is a patron of music. They got Usher. He's the source of the music at the prom. He's DJing. He got the hat on with the brim on it. That's the Saturn hat. You know, he's Baron Samedi type thing of the Saturn. He's the black man. When would he tell him? I'm checking out that new dance I taught y'all how to do. You know what I'm saying? So he's showing, he instructed them on how to. They say Osiris and Isis went out and taught the world of liberal arts. Usher was telling them he taught them that dance that they're doing on that floor with him. Then when he started doing his dance, I promise every time I see that shit, it remind. That's what comes to my mind when I think about that book. When they say that when you're a baby, your physical body vibrates into fruition almost as if it's dancing into existence. Now I'm trying to hope I explain this right, but when I seen them doing that dance, it felt like that's what it reminded me of what a baby would look like dangling inside the mother and coming into fruition when he did that little shit right there. And then when Zach finally get exposed and Laney find out that it's a bet, she don't want to deal with him no more. Taylor tells Zach, pick me up at 8 lover. She said 8 lover. But I just tell y'all the H, the 8, the Kimming. Pay attention to that. Then when they in the bathroom scene, we back to the whole moral authority thing. Preston tell Dean, you're not gonna get Laney. And you could he said it with authority too. You could tell. See, he was looking at it like, you know, I know you a piece of shit, and that girl don't deserve what you finna try to do to her. It's almost like he was looking at, you know, it almost as if he had a little sister, or that was his little sister, or how you would be if you had a little sister, and you know a nigga that you cool with, and he trying to fuck on your little sister, but you know he ain't worth shit. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be like, nigga, I don't want you fucking with I can't control her, but I don't want you fucking with my sister. I already know what you finna do. Just pay attention to how fierce that nigga was. He like, he even told the nigga, he was like, what? Because Dean was like, it's finna be an epic night. And that nigga Preston was like, wow, somebody gonna kill your ass or something, nigga? You must be a fucked up nigga for your boy to tell you something like that. But, yeah, but then the number, like I say, back to the number on the keychain, 409. 409, 4 plus 9, that's 14 pieces of Osiris. I was telling you, 4, D, 9 is I, the D, the da, da means double, Diablo, the double, devil, doppelganger, that's Zach. Dean is Zach's doppelganger, his twin, or he's the set or whatnot. And then the 14 is the 14 pieces of Osiris was broken into, blah 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 blah. And shit. What else? When Zach goes out to when Mackenzie and Jesse finally get to Zach and they tell him what's going on, they show Zach riding, trying to find what hotel Dean is taking Lady to. And what are the names of the hotel he called it? The Sunset what is it, the Sunset Mirage? I think it's the Sunset Mirage or whatever. But the Sunset Mirage. Now here we go. We actually got the name set in the Sunset Mirage. It's the Sunset Mirage. It's the end of the movie. Set means the end of the day when the sun sets. The sun sets at the end of the day. Set, Dean is set. You can say that. Zach is Osiris, or the sun, or Ra, whatever you want to call it. Sunset. So I peeped that. Then of course after that you got the scene where Laney and Zach, they in the backyard, they having their little conversation or whatever. And like I said, she told him he told her that she made him realize that you don't always have to have the answers right then and there, which is true. You know, even when it comes to being on a certain level, or a level you may think you should be on, you might see somebody else on a level and be like, and you might feel like you need to be on that level. And maybe you should be on that level, but you don't have to necessarily kill yourself trying to get to that level. You know, you don't want to get to that level before it's time or whatnot. There's so many worse things gonna happen when they're supposed to or whatnot. Or you'll find out what you need to find out. Just like now, I know I'm a god. I didn't know that when I was 10. Why? Probably wasn't time yet. So at that part, then the old man hit the lights, and then cut. You gotta think about it. The old man, he's a mashing figure, so he represents light. So when he hit the button, and all the lights came on around Lane and them while they were sitting up by the pool that's in the backyard. And the old man hits the button. He looks out there and like gives the nod. And in so many words, go back to what I was trying to tell you. They covered up with a kiss, but when he gave him the nod, he trying to tell him like, I'm giving you the permission to go all the way, brother. Go ahead, young guy. I like you. Gave him the nod. Lights came on. Water lights, star seeds, sperm, blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of reaching right there, but I'm just giving you a little something to work with on your own. And, yeah, man. And that about does it. Let me see. Oh, you need to ask her, can I have the last dance? And she said, no, but you can have the first. That's sex talk too. That's how I view it. I think she was trying to tell him that, nah, you can have the first, or you can be my first. And just think about, and you go back to the beach scene when Dean told her, when Dean was hating on Zach, and he told Lainey, many women have lost it. Many women have, what he said? Many women have lost it here when he was at the beach or whatever. Trying to imply that Zach had took a lot of women's virginity at that beach or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. That about does it. I hope y'all enjoyed this little thingy-majiggy I put down, man. I hope y'all learned something as well as was entertained. And maybe you can go watch this movie and find some shit I didn't see or whatever. Nobody talks to a nigga, so I don't know how. I was gonna say, shit, tell me some shit if I missed something, but you scary niggas. So, with that being said, man, I'm finna max out. Man, that boy, say, man, I have to flex on y'all. You know, I have shoes, nigga. Southern niggas with shoes. Flex on y'all one time before I get up out of here. But I hope y'all have a nice weekend, man. And be breezy for me, Zed. Peace.